Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to She Roams Free. In today's episode, we're going to talk about why we chose to slow travel to Southeast Asia and what we expect to get out of this experience. Stay tuned. So I have a list of questions that everyone keeps asking us as far as why we chose Southeast Asia, and I'm going to read each question and respond to those questions, and hopefully this information will help out a lot. So what we're hoping to get out of this experience is the chance to breathe. I mean, you guys may be able to relate by what I mean. You may understand what I mean by when I say breathe. And I can use myself as an example, just constantly working for the last 20 or something years. This is going to be an opportunity for myself and my spouse to breathe and take the time to learn more about each other. So we chose Southeast Asia is because we both traveled to Asia before and we enjoy the culture, we enjoy the food. We're both new to Thailand, but Thailand is not only it's not going to be the only country we decide to go visit. We plan on visiting Vietnam and Bali and some other countries as well. But just from our past experience, just traveling to Philippines and Taiwan, is that we fell in love with the culture, the environment, and the food. I mean, back at home, we're pretty much pescatarian. So we're on a vegetarian and pescatarian diet. So we don't have any issues with adapting to the culture food because we're already eating a lot of the food at home. For me, it was when I got to the point I was becoming burnt out from just working in corporate America. And it wasn't recent. I'm talking about maybe about 9-10 years ago, when it's just something in me realized after I had all the experience and the education, I just felt like something was missing. And all I was doing was working, and I asked myself this question: do I really want to work until I'm 65, 67 years old? And I realized I didn't want that for myself. I wanted something different. So early on, I already had that mindset. I already started asking myself questions. And fast forward, I had since then did other things outside of my job, as far as getting my real estate license and doing investment, going into the investment industry of real estate, or being able to purchase properties. So, and also building out stock portfolios, just finding ways that I could earn extra income so that I won't have to work forever. I'm not gonna lie to you. So my spouse and I had a 7-year plan, pretty much a 7-year plan to retire. And we both knew that we were not gonna retire in the United States. One reason, because the cost of living. 2, because we enjoy traveling. Just from our experience traveling around the world, we knew that there was other places we would like to travel, retire. And one of the other reasons is that we just feel like we connect more with the culture, environment, and just the people when we're traveling to different countries. Not saying we don't connect with people here in the United States, because we're from here, but it's just a different feeling that we experience, and we recognize that things seem to be at a slower pace, especially for my spouse. I mean, he's been working airlines industry for 25 years, so he has more exposure to those environments where he is flying and living in other countries for weeks, if not months at a time. Financially, so I would say before I met my spouse, before we met each other, we both had savings. I would consider myself as, in the beginning, a aggressive saver. I was really, really good at saving money. It's just something that I would honestly say I knew from day one as an adult. And I believe it was from my mom, seeing my mom have a purse back at home and she would put money in it. I don't know how much money my mom had, but just thinking about my past experience, we didn't have a lot, but my mom, I really believe she is the reason why I learned to save the way I have. The only part was missing was investing, which I didn't really get into investing. And when I mean investing, I mean investing in the stock market and real estate properties until like several years ago. Well, real estate market probably about 8 years ago, but the stock market definitely is, I just started about 3 or 4 years ago. But now that I have the knowledge, I have been able to aggressively invest. And what we did was we first looked at all of our income, as far as like getting the idea of what we currently make in income, and looked at what we owe in debts. So anything that we currently owe, as far as a car loan, credit card loans, our goal was to pay off those balances first, pay off the smaller balances first, and then focus on paying off the higher interest loans. And we already gone through the process where we sold my car. I had a really, really nice car. You guys might have seen the video. There's a video out there on our other channel, Feeling the Brain, where we're actually showing you exactly the process we went through to sell my car. And I had a really nice car and I missed my car. But that was one of the steps, was just downsizing, getting rid of those items like our cars and some of the things we don't need at the house. So we also preparing our current primary home for rentals. So we went in and started selling a lot of the items in the house and also giving away stuff. And then the next thing we did was, once we got to the point where we paid off our debt, we focused on our savings. Now, again, I mentioned I'm an aggressive saver. So I already had a lot of money put to the side for savings. And what I recommend for those of you that may not be as aggressive in saving, or you just starting out with saving, I recommend calculating what your monthly expenses are, all of your bills, plus what it costs for you to eat out monthly, and times that by 12, because I'm going to recommend saving 12 months of your living expenses, not 6 months, if you can. If you can't, start off with 6 months, and then from there, then move into investing. So when I was working a job, because right now I'm currently out of work at this point, but when I was previously working, which was not too long ago, I aggressively paid, when I paid our bills, and because we already had money saved, right? What I did was I was on a autopilot schedule where I was constantly putting money, every paycheck, into the stock market. Now, sometimes that money went into the settlement fund, but a lot of times it went directly into the stocks that I wanted to continue to purchase. And that's our brokerage account, our traditional IRA, as well as our Roth IRA. So what we did was we wanted to make sure that we created income for ourselves, because my spouse and I are still pretty young. I'll be turning 40 next year, and he's nowhere near retirement eligible age just yet. So we wanted to make sure that we created a income for ourselves, because we are pretty much going to work and continue to do things online, but we want to make sure we had other ways to create a consistent monthly stream of income, and that's through dividends through stocks, right? So we already, prior to putting this plan together, already invested in the stock market, already had some stocks that were paying out dividends, such as the ETFs and the index funds and mutual funds. But it was the first time where I realized we were going to pretty much move less than our 7-year plan. So it was important that I go back to our portfolio and focus on how do I make sure we have enough dividend income and what that looks like. we had to make sure we know what that number is, like how much money do we need to live off on. And a way of doing that was doing our research, watching tons of YouTube videos out there of people talking about where they're living as far as different parts of Asia. For us, we've been looking into Da Nang, as well, Da Nang, Vietnam, as well as Thailand, Bangkok, Thailand. And we was able to kind of use that as a base because we're slow traveling, but we may at some point make a decision to stay there long term. But just watching different content creators out there that currently live in those areas, they were able to give us a pretty good idea as far as how much we would need to live in those particular countries. And for us, about $2,000. We think we can live pretty well off $2,000 a month. So then I went back to our stock portfolio and I was calculating everything, all of the stocks strategically, because some of them pay out quarterly and monthly dividends. And once I got an idea of what we were currently receiving in stocks, I had to do a little bit of rebalancing, which is not uncommon to rebalance your stock portfolio. And that's a whole nother topic. But I did a little bit of rebalancing where I did have to sell some stocks. I didn't sell it for a loss, I sold it for gains, and it was a great gain because I had them for a long time. And it was stocks that I decided to sell because I had pretty much like some duplicate stocks. They were similar, so it wasn't an issue, but it allowed me to have extra income on top of the money that I have in settlement fund to be able to purchase some additional stocks that would help us reach that $2,000 goal. So that's what we did. And at some point in the future, I do plan to create some YouTube videos and training on how I started off investing in the stock market and what that looks like. And if you want to have an idea of what I did to start off, please go out there and look at my videos and watch video 2 where I go in a little bit more detail on that. I would say I always wanted to live abroad. Well, let me step back. Okay, so when I was really young, I was still living at home. I'm from Texas. I'm from a very small town in Texas, and I just always known as a young girl that I wanted to travel the world. And my way of doing that was I was going to go to the military, which I took all the tests for the Army and the Air Force, passed all the exams, and I ended up going because I fell in love. And, you know, we live and learn, right? Us girls, we young, we fall in love, and we decide not to do that, which I don't regret it. I still ended up going to college years later, and I had a wonderful career in the tech space. So during that time, just growing up, I knew I wanted to travel the world. And I thought one way of doing that was going to the military. So fast forward, it didn't happen. Live in Houston, and I started exploring the world once I finished college. So I made it my goal. Once I finished college, I'm going to travel at least once a year. And then it got to the point where I was traveling twice a year. And just by going to these different places, not just traveling to the different continents, you know, as far as going to Asia and going to South America, you know, for example, and Europe, for example. I also was traveling to a lot of the different islands. And every time I travel, I learned something new. I was learning how to communicate with the different people that live there and their culture and their environment, their food, and everyone. I swear to you, every place I ever traveled to, people seem so relaxed, so friendly, so calm. And most of the time when I travel, I enjoy going outside of the resort. Like, I want to go and sit with the local people and eat the local foods. That's how I knew I was different, because I always want to do that. That's something that my spouse and I do together now. But when I was traveling years ago on my own, I was just like, I want to go and eat what the real people eat. I don't want this. Not trying to downgrade the resort food, but I want the real culture food. So just being in those environments, I realized I want to experience what these people are experiencing. And sometimes, like in the Philippines, it wasn't even in the most the areas may not be something that we're familiar with, right? Like it may be like area may not be as I don't know, as developed. And the people seem so happy, and the food is always so good. I am a foodie. You guys probably already start to recognize I am a foodie. So that's when I realized I want to be able to travel the world and live a different experience. And I've been very blessed and grateful in my life to find my spouse who wants to do the same thing. I mean, what are the odds, right? He wants to do the exact same thing. Oh, this is probably the most deepest question I have read on this list so far. Slowing down means a lot to me. It means my mind is not racing, because in the States, right, I just been focused on my career. Even before I had a career, I was focused on taking care of my son. My son was sick early on, very young age. He was sick. And once I got him stable, a couple of years after he became stable, I went to college. And then from there, I went to work. I was working while I was in college, so I was always hustling, 12-hour shifts, 3 days a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and taking 4 classes during the week. I did that all through undergrad school, and then when I got my master's, I was working at the hospital. So just hearing my story, you kind of got an idea. I was always hustling and taking care of kids, especially a sick kid. And even after getting my master's degree, that's when my career took off. I was still busy, hustling, up until this year, where I started to slow down. Well, late last year, where I started to slow down, and I started to focus on independent contract work. So that's what I currently do on and off when I want to actually work. So slowing down also means to me is that I'm not only, like I said, mind not racing, but I'm also taking time for me, and I want to grow. I think part of this has something to do with me getting ready to reach another stage in life. Like I said before, I'm getting ready to turn 40 in a couple of months. And taking this time out and preparing to leave the United States, it is quite scary. But I'm excited at the same time, because I'm already starting to feel calm. I'm starting to relax. My mind's not racing as much as it used to. I'm sleeping more. I'm, a little anxious still, but I'm not as busy as I was before, obviously, because I'm not working at the moment, but I am doing some work. It's just on my own time because I'm independent, so I don't feel pressure like I have to be on someone's timeline. So going to Southeast Asia and enjoying this experience, I'm going to really, really suck it in. Like, take the time to sit in every moment. I don't care if I'm just in the kitchen in one of the hotels. I want to take the time to just really just savor everything, or, when I'm talking about food, but just the food too. But just in every hotel, every Airbnb, everywhere we go, I want to really, really suck it in and just really enjoy the moment, because it can go so fast. And I never really done that. As you heard me say, I'm always moving. So I want to slow down. And I think just by me wanting to slow down where I am today, I know once we do settle down, as far as choosing a place that we decide to stay long term, it's going to be a mixture of fast pace and slow pace. It's like somewhere in the middle, because I need to slow down. Oh, shoot. I mean, we're human. I had a lot of fears. Okay, so my spouse, as I told you earlier today, we had a 7-year plan, because we were talking about retiring in about 7 years. And you know, I already did the numbers. I'm the numbers girl, so I already did all the numbers. I knew what numbers we were aiming towards our goal. And when Phil walked up to me one day, this was last year, he said, "Babe, we're going to move next year. We're going to go," you know, he just said, "We're going to go to Thailand. We were still trying to decide we were going to slow travel. We haven't decided that time, but he just said, we're going to Thailand." You know, he already had started doing his research. He was way ahead of me. And part of that reason, as far as why we decided to move faster, right? Like less than 7 years, is because everything that's going on in the world now. I mean, I'm not making this about politics. This video is not about politics, but it's just some things that we started to see where we feel like, you know, it wouldn't do us any value continue to stay here. Like, we need to up that plan. And I know everybody's not going to agree with that, but that's our plan. Not everybody in my family, his family and friends agree with what we're doing, but most people do. But yeah, he said we gotta go. We gotta go. And my spouse, he follows politics. He follows what's going on with the world, you know, and the environment and everything. So it was quite scary when he said that to me. I was just like, "You're crazy." I have the 7-year plan because, you know, I have my numbers together, and we're not going anywhere until these numbers are met, because that's me. And let me tell you guys something. It don't have to be perfect, because that's me. I'm a perfectionist. It does not have to be perfect. I'm not going to recommend anyone, of course, go out there without a plan, without money. We have a plan. We're working on our plan. We have been working on our plan, and we have money. And what I mean by money, I'm not going to tell you how much money we have, but I'm just saying what I'm going to recommend people do: at least 6 months to a year of your monthly living expenses before you leave. If you decided that you were ready to live abroad, don't go anywhere without a plan. You see how I lit up after I read that question? And guess what? I instantly thought about food. Okay, my spouse is the cook. Oh my God. Like, he cooks so well, and we had a wonderful dish today. We had tofu curry, and it was delicious. And I could be upset, having a bad day, and I just hear baby going upstairs, and I hear a plate move a pot. I know he about to cook. I'm like, yes. It's like everything changes. Like he found a way to my heart, and that's food. That's crazy, right? Like, I love his cooking that much. This man, I know this is not about the video, right? The episode, but I'm just saying, this man, early on in our relationship, he's cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And he was on a schedule with it, right? So when he wasn't working, when he wasn't out of town, breakfast, lunch, and dinner was the exact time he came. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner to my office with coffee. And I said, you know what? I gotta shut this down real quick. What you trying to do? I mean, I'm already spoiled, but what are you trying to do? I mean, I gained a couple of pounds because of him. So I was trying to figure out why I'm gaining weight. Girl, I'm sorry, I was saying girl. But I go in the kitchen, and this man put honey and all kind of stuff in my coffee. And he cooked so good. And I'm just like, look, I gotta slow down. So I forgot my question. I'm sorry, I gotta go back to my question. Hold on, guys. I gotta go back to my question, because as you can see, we were talking about what are you most excited about? And as you can see, I got distracted. Because I started talking about food. I started talking about Philly in the Brain, our other YouTube channel. But Philly, they man can cook. So don't be surprised when we settle down in Da Nang, Vietnam, or Bangkok, Thailand, or Pattaya, Hue Hin. Sorry, thank you, baby. Don't be surprised if we decide to invite a few people over and y'all have some cooking, because this man know how to cook. So we gotta hurry and get to a kitchen for him. You know, once we settle down, we gonna hurry and find a kitchen just so baby can cook. So yes, I definitely look forward to trying the different food. Baby reminds me every day because he's watching YouTube constantly, and we watch videos all the time of people eating, going to all these different restaurants, going to all the street markets, the street food. And I'm telling you, I'm so jealous. I gotta watch people eat. That is like the worst thing. I'm hungry, you know, just but it just gives an idea of what type of choices, what are the options that are available there. And it's exciting. It's exciting to see people watch and enjoy their food. Not watch, but enjoy their food. The biggest challenge so far has been, I would say, figuring out how to downsize some clothes for me. And ladies, you may be able to relate. For real, y'all can relate. Not maybe, you can relate. We have a lot of clothes. I didn't realize I had a lot of clothes. I mean, it seems like I wear the same stuff every week, but I have so many clothes, and it wasn't until I went into my closet and started to get rid of stuff, I was like, all of these clothes? And I only get to choose so many, you know, like ideally we're trying to go, you know, slow travel with less, right? So maybe a good 10 to 12, 14 outfits. So that has been the struggle for me, is downside. I didn't care about holding on to bags. Believe it or not, I had a lot of nice bags, and my oldest sister, I called her, I said, hey, I'm getting rid of my bags and shoes and clothes. This girl was over here so quick. I love my sister. She was over here so quick. We had drinks ready. Well, Phil had some drinks for us. Oh, I think I forgot to mention that Phil he good at making great cocktails. I mean, he got a whole bar set up for real. So she came over here. She grabbed all the bags she wanted at the time, and that's how I was able to downsize on a lot of stuff. I still have a lot of clothes to get rid of, so we do plan on having a garage sale this week to get rid of the remaining clothes. My advice to you guys that's going to start slow traveling or thinking about slow traveling, have a plan. And not just any plan. Take the time out to really think about how are you going to take care of yourselves financially, because you still need to be able to pay for your hotel, your flights. You need some mercy funds for that reason. So you want to make sure you have a plan, and you want to make sure you have some type of stream of income. If you don't already have a stream of income, at least have your 6 to 12 month emergency fund with a plan on how you're going to make some more money. Don't just go out there or just anywhere without a plan, without any money. Say, I'm not going to recommend it. Now, we know some people that have done it, and we so happy for them. You know, being able to travel, and they started slow traveling, and they didn't have the 6 months to a year monthly spend save, and they were able to make it. However, I just want to make sure you're prepared, because you don't want the extra stress. So that's my advice to you. Have a plan. I want you guys to tell me something about yourself. Have you thought about slow traveling? And if you have, where will you start? I mean, which country would you start in? Would you start in the continent of Asia? Would you start in Europe, for example? Or would you start in Africa? Leave us a comment. I'm curious to learn more about what you're thinking about or what you plan on doing. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. That wraps it up. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss out on great videos like this. I am about to go and eat some more of Phil's food. All right, y'all. Take care of each other. Love one another. Peace.